The February 23rd Commissioners Conference. I'd like to call the meeting to order and then the Pledge of Allegiance, everybody. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Welcome, everybody. Any unfinished business or correspondence, Karen? Excellent. All right, next on the agenda, looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting dated February 9th, 2021 as presented.
Second. Oh, gotcha. Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, we got a little bit of an echo, but hopefully that's coming in all right out there. Maybe I can drop the volume a little bit. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion to approve. Oh, sorry. Call for vote on that one.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. Pacini?
Yeah.
Motion carries. Sorry about that, everyone. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion to approve invoices in the amount of $787,645.10. There's a typo there. And I'm guessing it was that extra four. Paid February 10th through February 23rd, 2021.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. Pacini?
Yes.
Motion carries. So I'm getting a note here from our IT person. Computer is muted. All right, hang on a second. We're going to work through these technical difficulties so we can make sure everyone. All right, I think we're getting. Yeah, if you're on the conference call, could you please mute your phone? What we're getting is feedback from the computer through the conference line. So mute your phone until it's your time to speak. If you're on the conference line, please. Thank you. All right, so we did 4, right? We're on to 5. All right, next on the agenda, looking for a motion to approve pending invoices in the amount of $825,980.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. Pacini?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion that the actual gross payroll in the amount of $260,747.39 be approved for payment for the period January 31st through February 13th, 2021.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. Pacini?
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion that the tentative gross payroll in the amount of $258,490 be approved for payment through February 14th through February 27th, 2021.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. Pacini?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next under the agenda, looking for a motion to appoint Jeff Ginther of Reynoldsville to the Jefferson County Housing Authority to fulfill the term created by the resignation of Paul Corbin. Mr. Ginther's term will expire December 31st, 2024.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
And I just probably at this point, we just want to thank Paul Corbin for what he's done for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Herbie. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. Pacini?
Yeah.
Motion carries. Next under the agenda, looking for a motion to enter into a professional administrative service agreement with North Central Pennsylvania Regional Planning and Development Commission for them to administer COVID-19 hospitality industry recovery program grant funds in the amount of $491,847 on behalf of the county and at no cost to the county.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Now, this is, of course, more COVID money, and we're in the early stages of this, and this does not start until the middle of March. So if you keep looking on our website under the announcement, you'll be able to see that.
And this money, Jeff, this was restaurant, that, what?
Hospitality, yeah.
All hospitality, okay. Thank you.
Hospitality, so.
But again, they'll have to fill out, as they did if they looked at other monies, they'll have to fill out an application. And then they'll go to be approved or disapproved by North Central. And then they'll get the money. We'll be a pass-through for that money. We'll come here and then we'll give it to them to do that. So,
And the government loves acronyms, so they're calling this CHIRP.
sure.
CHIRP, that stands for COVID-19 Hospitality Industry Recovery Program. CHIRP. So keep your eyes out for that. Any further discussion on that?
And I think Bill and Jamie may be on the phone. I don't know if they have any other comments or not.
Here, yes.
We sure can.
Yeah, we're just looking forward to getting applications in and collecting them. I think that's a process. By March 15th, then North Central will be reviewing, just be sure people qualify and meet the guidelines that will be listed as well. So it is, a NAICS code is 722 and 721. If anybody's familiar with that, hospitality, food, the catering, and so on and so forth. So more information to come. We've had several calls already, and we will refer them to the application as soon as we get it. Bill, do you have anything else to say? That's it.
All right, thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Bill.
Welcome.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr.
Yeah.
George?
Motion carries. Next under the agenda, looking for a motion to adopt ordinance number 2021-01, an ordinance of the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Jefferson, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, pursuant to the Local Government Unit Debt Act 53PA.C.S.A. 8001 ETSEQ, authorizing the incurring of non-electoral debt by the issuance of a general obligation bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $20,500,000, convening to pay and pledging unlimited taxing power for the payment of the bonds, fixing the form, maximum interest rates, maturity, redemption of other provisions for the payment thereof, authorizing the acceptance of a proposal for the purchase of the bonds, authorizing a filing required documents with the Department of Community and Economic Development, ratifying and directing certain actions of officers, and making certain other covenants and provisions in respect of the bonds.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Actually, at this point, I'd like to turn the floor over to Sam Lynch, our economic advisor.
More or less, your chief financial consultant.
Chief Financial Consultant. I'm sorry for screwing up that title. So he's our Chief Financial Consultant.
Basically, commissioners, we've had a team together, Joe Muscatelli, our underwriter, and myself, and also Chris for our bond counsel to go through this process. And basically what we're doing is restructuring the 2012 bond issue. We have three other notes, 2015, 2015B, and the 2016. The objective is to reduce the interest, and so our debt service payments be lower going in over the next few years going. Joe, are you on the phone? Muscatelli?
Yes.
I'd like you to turn this over to you so you get more insight on this.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Can you hear me now?
I can. If anyone else is on the conference line, if you could mute your phone other than Joe, please. gonna do a workaround here. Can you,
I can give Joe a moment.
yeah, can you, Joe, we're gonna call on the other conference line, so we're not getting all this chatter.
Okay. I'll hang up.
Hello?
Joe, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, I'm gonna put the phone down on the table.
Now, if we put the phone down on the table,
That's his phone. Joe's phone.
Yeah, it just keeps echoing what you said.
Hey, Joe, if you could turn off the YouTube feed, that might help us out.
Okay, I'll turn it off. Yep. Okay, the YouTube feed's off, is that better?
That's, all right, we solved it. Sorry for, that confusion out there in Commissioner Land, I guess. So, yeah, we were all loud and clear. Carry on, Joe.
So again, I'm the problem. Well, Commissioners, I appreciate the opportunity to work with the county, and it's been, I gotta tell you, it's been a great experience. Everybody that I've worked with at the county, Sam, Veronica, Karen, and the commissioners, it was, I really, it was a very enjoyable experience working with you. And you can see how well all of you work together based on the rating that the county received. As you know, probably about a month ago, we had our rating call with Standard & Poor's. Standard & Poor's is an independent agency that reviews the finances of the county, the management of the county, and the economics of the area of the county, takes all that information and rates the county. I'm very happy to say that the county was rated an A+ rating. And the higher the rating, the lower the interest rates, the lower the cost of municipal insurance. So just to give you a perspective on the insurance, I was working with another county. They were an A-, you were an A+. The difference was about, 8 or 9 basis points. But when you multiply that by $25, million or so, that's about a $25,000 difference in cost. So by you being rated as high as you were, you saved about $25,000 on this insurance. And what this insurance does, it guarantees the payment of the bonds. So that if something would happen in the county, this company out of New York, there's 2 companies, one of that and most out of New York, will come in and make good on the payments of the bonds. So for I think the European was probably about $30,000, the other company was about $55,000. Is that for $30,000, they're going to guarantee the payment over the next 20 years, or 23 years, over the next 23 years of the county. So that's saying a lot about the county. One of the things that they really stressed was the management and the finances of the county, and how well the county has done over the past few years in straightening out the finances. And that is shown, because I believe the county was last rated an A, so you were upgraded since your last rating, which I believe was in 2016 or so, 2017. So there's been a tremendous amount of improvement over the last few years. And I'd like to commend the commissioners and their staff for doing such a good job. So, like I said, it was a pleasure. It was one of the easiest conference calls, the easiest rating calls that I had. There was no follow-up questions, which was incredible. So you guys did a great job on convincing Anna on the higher rating. So that was great. In terms of the structure that we're putting forth for the county, is that, as Sam said, we're refinancing the 2012 bonds. By refinancing those bonds, the county's going to save about, there's only about, I think, $755,000 left on those bonds. But by refinancing them after cost, the county saves about $56,000. Now, with the three different bank loans, what we're doing there is because they're variable rate, so they're subject, the interest rate is subject to change every 3 or 4 years. So the maximum rate is 5.5%. Based on today's rates. Now, you don't know what the future is going to hold, but we do know right now that the county can lock in rates of around 2% or now to 2039, which are going to be lower than the max rate on currently on the loans. So the max rate on the loans is about 5.5%. We know we can lock in 2%. Now, you never know if it's going to be a great idea or not, until 2039 and you look back. But based on the markets right now, it seems like it's a good idea to lock in those rates at these low rates. By locking into rates, we're able to restructure the bonds still at around 2%. You spend this debt about 4 years and reduce your debt service payment in the first year by about $730,000. And then every year thereafter, we're taking your current debt service payment of $1,612,000 down to $400,000 less, about $1,220,000. So it gives the county a little bit of debt service relief, and you can build funds with those monies. So in essence, that is the refinancing the 2012, $56,000 in savings after cost, restructuring and locking in the interest rates on the three outstanding bank loans, reducing the current debt service the first year by $730,000, and then every year thereafter by about $400,000, and your debt service stays level at $1,220,000 or so until 2039, when all your debt will be paid off, and the bond issue will be the only debt that the county has.
Awesome.
Excellent.
And by adopting this ordinance, gives the staff, the team, authorized to go out and do this, what Joe talked about on the
Oh,
market.
yeah, Sam, we would lock in all the rates on, unless something happens to the markets, we would lock rates in on Thursday, February 25th, and close on March 30th. So on March 30th, we would pay off all of your bank loans, and we would set aside monies for the bond issue. Thanks, Steve.
Excellent. My turn. So, I just want to let you know how we got here. This journey actually started 18 years ago. When Jeff and his board of commissioners came into office, we were in not the best financial shape, more than $2 million in debt. And their board of commissioners worked very hard, made some really tough calls, cut spending, did wage freezes, made tough financial calls to get this board of commissioners in position to take advantage of that. And that's what we did. We went out, worked economic development, just try to streamline different parts of the budget, reallocated more than $2 million in our existing budget of what we call dead money to make it work again. And each $800,000 plus that we are able to reallocate is $1 million of taxes that we don't have to raise. So when COVID hit last year, we looked at this as this was going to be an economic strain on the county, on everybody, on all our tax, or on our population. And so what happens every time the legislature passes a budget? In that budget, there's unfunded mandates, because what happens in prior legislative action is they mandate that the county is to provide a certain set of services. And that's great. They're services that are needed, that are absolutely and legislated in there, but then they cut the funding for it. But the funding has to come from somewhere. And the county is the last line of defense. The legislature, no one really likes to raise taxes, and when they can, they'll kick it down the road to our level. We are mandated to balance our budget. We are mandated to run this county efficiently, and that's what we've done. And we were able to get our bond rating up at AA+. The last time we did financing, we were rated at A-. So that's 3 positions ahead of where that was, and that gives us better buying power, saving you money. So what we've basically done is build an extra $700,000, $734,428.46 to basically pay for the anticipated unfunded mandates that are gonna come out of Harrisburg and Washington in an effort to keep your taxes right where they are. And we're pulling every string we possibly can to do just that. And, I mean, I can't help, thank Sam and his team for that 18-year process to get us right here, right now. We're in the middle of a pandemic, economic disarray every place, and I'm proud to tell you this county's in good shape. And we're really solid financial footing right now. And without all things considered, I could say that. But with all things considered, it's a little extra. So, you know, that's why we made these decisions, just in an effort to run this county as good as we can. And I know we have done that. So any further discussion from you guys?
It's been an interesting journey.
Yeah, I'd like to say, you know, because we've talked about this, but the opportunity was here for the commissioners, the financial team to do what they did, because we could have just let it go as it was. But by looking and seeing what happens, the opportunity to make a decision here has economically helped the county very well. So, yeah, so kudos, Sam, Veronica, I mean, everybody involved in this, you know, the commissioners, so good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep, and I mean, we're looking at it that we locked in rates at 2%. And so how we win is, if rates go up, we're in really good shape, and
They will.
they will. I mean, I just, none of us believe that interest rates, the way the financial markets are, that if it stays at 2% until 2035, we've got other problems. So, yeah, we did the best we could in making this financial decision, and I'm comfortable with this one, very comfortable. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Sam. Thanks, sir. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
And I think Corey was on that. There were a bunch of people behind the scenes, Veronica working this. I mean, it took a county effort over the last 18 years to get us to this point. And here we are.
Yeah, there's probably some people that aren't even around from 18 years ago that were part of starting this.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, like I said, it's been interesting.
Yeah,
Not always fun, but.
So, without anything else, I guess we need to call for a vote, right?
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. Caparch?
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, next on the agenda, I would like to open the floor up for to Tracy and Chris. Give us a little update on what's going on with the county. Tracy, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Oh, great. Hey, since you have this extra money now, can I get raised?
It's already been spent.
Well, hey, just want to kind of give you an update on the COVID testing. It was brought up at the last meeting there. Our numbers that we had 80 people that came through the testing site. And keep in mind, we did have to cancel one day and shorten one day because of inclement weather. But as far as the 80 people that came through the site there, you know, they definitely had concerns. They wanted to be tested to see if they had COVID-19, and we accommodated that. When you look at the numbers, we had 71 that tested negative and 9 that tested positive. But what the ironic part of that was from 5 different counties. 6 different counties. We had residents from Armstrong, Clarion, Clearfield, Elk, Indiana, Jefferson, and we had 1 resident from the county of Philadelphia that came through the testing site, seeing it advertised on the interstate message boards that came through. The other thing that I thought was pretty interesting with this was the age groups as they were broken down. We had 2 that tested positive between the ages of 5 and 12, and we had one that tested positive between the ages of 19 and 24. Ages 25 to 49 was 4, and ages 50 to 64 was 2. And the 65 and older population, we did not have any that tested positive. In fact, we had 23 that tested negative from that initiative. So, again, I want to thank Bob Schaefer and the staff from the airport for allowing us to use that facility. Worked out very well for us. This past weekend, we assisted the Punxsutawney Area Hospital with a mass COVID vaccine site in Punxsutawney at the Punxsutawney School District. To say that it was a success would be an understatement. They were able to give out 2,000 vaccines in that time period. There was people that were lined up between 1 and 2 in the morning to get into that site. And it was not the most ideal weather conditions for people to stand out there. But I'm going to tell you, people were, good spirited about it. They made the best of a situation. I have to commend the staff of the Punxsutawney Hospital. They kept that line moving, and it was a good flow throughout the day where they ran out, I think, shortly after 3 o'clock. So again, I want to commend them. Katie Dornell especially, she was the one that coordinated a lot of this. We provide some logistical support and some resource support. And I want to thank, everybody that came to help us with this endeavor. So it's the first of many. As I said a couple meetings ago, the light at the end of the tunnel was pretty dim. I think we can see that light getting a little brighter now. Our case counts have been down. Today was one of the days that it was up above 10. We had 12 cases today. But for the most part, since the 5th of February, we've been down into the single digits. Only a couple days that it has spiked up to as high as 50. So I want to thank the residents of the county for taking and doing their part. The wearing the mask, the social distancing, the good hygiene measures. We couldn't do this without that, and I'm pretty happy with where we're at right now. We're not out of the woods yet, but we're getting close to that light, and I think before long, midsummer, we should be in pretty good shape here. So again, I want to thank you guys for that. I know Jack and Jeff was down at Punxsutawney. If you have any comments, and after that, Chris has some updates that I think you'll be very happy with.
I mean, my takeaway from that is just how patient everybody was and how everyone adapted really quickly to what we saw out there. I mean, looked like about 400 people, most of them 65 and older, standing outside, and the organizers pivoted, got the doors open, and got people inside as fast as they could. We opened the doors 45 minutes early from what we had scheduled, I believe. And just the patience everyone had. I think there were at least 8 people I saw that were over 100 years of age, and standing out in that cold. I mean, it just shows you that people are tired of this. They want to get back to normal. I think we all do, and I think people are just missing human contact. But like Tracy said, the light at the end of the tunnel is getting a little brighter. Hopefully we'll be done with this as sooner rather than later.
Yeah, the interesting part that I noticed really was the excitement in the air. Those people were excited to be able to finally get a shot, and I think that's why so many showed up so early. And of course, the Punxsutawney staff did a great job of being cheerleaders for these people to wait, and it was worth the wait. So it was a good day, very good day. But let's not forget, even though Punxsutawney was very successful, we also had one over in the Brockway area that was successful also. So there are things happening in our county. Even other providers have been doing it on a weekly basis, giving shots when they're able to get the vaccine. So there's a lot happening as far as these vaccines every week. And I know from the commissioner's office, we're excited about that. So thanks. It's a huge thanks to everybody that participates.
Yeah, there is, I mean, it's a team effort. There's pharmacists out there that are taking their ball and running with it themselves.
Yep.
I'm not sure if they would like their names broadcast or not, so we're not gonna do that at this point, but there's a lot of unsung heroes that are just getting after it every day, trying to make their community a little bit better, and they're being successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't disagree with any of that, and I echo those sentiments. Penn Highlands has been doing quite a bit of vaccine clinics throughout their footprint, the pharmacies, whatever. I mean, it's truly a community effort to get back on track and get back to somewhat normality. It may not be exactly the same as what we had before, but I'll tell you what, it'll be pretty doggone close. So, and again, I think everybody's doing a great job. The only other thing that I do want to mention, in 5 days, it'll be the 1-year anniversary that we've been dealing with this COVID-19 within the county. It's not much to celebrate, but I think we all can celebrate the fact that we are getting so close to this being somewhat taken care of. We talk about the daily case counts and we talk about, the infections in schools and whatever. But the last thing that I kind of want to mention to everybody today, before I turn it over to Chris, is look out for each other. This has been a year-long process. I know it got on people's nerves. I know I got on people's nerves with this. And the mental health aspect of this is truly, truly a true concern that we have with people. So check on your friends, check on your neighbors, check on your family members. Make sure everybody's doing good. Keep that positive vibe going in the community. And again, like we said from the beginning, we'll get through this together. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thanks, Tracy.
Now, Chris, I believe, is on the call, and he has some updates that I think all of you will be very happy with. Chris?
So normally Tracy is the bearer of bad news, but I'm going to chalk his up today as being some good news and positive reinforcement for us all. But I still strive to outdo that. So I'm going to try to do that. And with what I'm going to present, I'm going to try to do it without mentioning the C-19. So first of all, I'll be long-winded, but here it is. So in 2019, the State 911 Advisory Board recommended the PEMA, the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, the adoption of new minimum training requirements for the training and certification of emergency telecommunicators, along with an improved quality assurance and improvement program. As of February 16th of 2021, 2 years after that, the Jefferson County Department of Emergency Services 911 program was certified by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania as being compliant and meeting the new state requirements. Meeting these state requirements was a monumental task. It's taken more than 2 years of planning, designing, building, retooling, data entry, and coordination to implement. None of it could have been done without the efforts of all of our staff, from the ground up, from the top to the bottom, and vice versa. Each member of our dispatch team played some role in helping me roll this out and being successful. One of my main goals before day one was to exceed those minimum standards and not have a boxed program because one size does not fit all. The new state requirement allowed us to develop our own training program, the elements of the curriculum, using our own ideas and material. One of the greatest advantages of the new program is allow Jefferson County to develop and use our own call-taking protocols for fire, police, and EMS call-taking. This will allow our dispatchers to ask simple, standardized questions and allow them to use their critical thinking skills during interrogation. It's not like that with your box programs. This is also designed to provide first aid instructions to callers, recommend safety measures until their help arrives, Our objective is to send help as rapidly as possible. That's with every person that calls here. We don't want to badger a 911 caller. It's already stressful enough when somebody has to call 911, sometimes on their worst day of their lives. And we just don't burden them with a multitude of questions, but we want to get effective questions to help us have the correct response and to provide information to responders that's beneficial to them. On the call taking protocol side, they're typically purchased and maintained through a third-party vendor, which we use for our emergency medical dispatch for many years. Now that all three were required, we reevaluated the program. And for Jefferson County to implement fire and police call taking programs, that cost would have been $105,000 just to implement the program. Again, that's through the third-party vendor. And annually, we would have been paying $25,000 to $30,000 a year in maintenance fees. I am extremely proud to say that Jefferson County 901 is the only PSAC in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that have developed all three and approved call taking protocols in-house. I feel this program is going to serve our callers with more efficiency, a better process, and it's virtually going to cost pennies to operate and maintain. A very proud and monumental task the whole way around. Before I conclude, just another thing I want to throw out there too, and kind of fits with the earlier topics of the Commissioners Conference, is the topic of 901 funding that stands moving into 2021 through the rest of the year and hopefully into 2022. It's anticipated right now the program will virtually be funded at 100% from surcharge revenue. This has been the case since the end of 2015 with the passage of Act 12 of 2015. Using diligent, responsible financial management, the Jefferson County 901 program has been able to cover the yearly operating budget, but also pay for several projects at little to no cost to taxpayers. It's all coming from your surcharge revenue, the $1.65 you pay on the phone line per month. That's what's coming back to Jefferson County from the state, using it diligently. Early last year in 2020, and this kind of got overshadowed by the C19 word, we purchased our new Zetron radio console. That project was budgeted for right around $300,000. And that was covered in full by the 901 surcharge revenue reserves that we've been working with since the end of 2015. I'm going to stress that this funding was not intended to cover 901 at 100% forever. But again, with that sound financial management and cost savings, we've been able to accomplish that and still have a reserve pot for upcoming and future projects. And Sam, as far as that financial information I just give, if any of that seems inaccurate, please chime in. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Really appreciate all your efforts. And I mean, like a lot of things in government, this has been a years, plural, long process, and appreciate all your work sitting on advisory boards and just being in front of this or on top of this.
Yeah, congratulations,
I
Chris.
guess to throw in, thank you very much. Just to throw it in on the last part of that financial, I did overlook here. I just made myself a note as I was talking. Since the end of 2015, with again our yearly budget and then all of the extra projects that we've done that we've been able to cover under that surcharge revenue, and again at no taxpayer or no cost additionally to the taxpayers, that equates to right around $6 million that has not had to come out of the county's general fund since 2015.
Yeah, awesome. And then I think you got one more thing, aren't you? Go ahead, Tracy.
Really want to commend Chris for his forward thinking and due diligence on this. It's just going to save the county so much money over the next several years and provide a quality service to all of our residents and anyone that travels through. And Chris has been a monumental example of how things can get done within this county, just by the common sense approach and the thinking about it. So I do commend you, Chris, for that as well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I think there's one more thing, Chris. Aren't you the good weather person out there? Don't you give us the good weather reports?
you know, I typically try to throw that in there after what Tracy has to report, so I can promise it is getting warmer. By the end of the week, it'll still maintain.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be 16 degrees above freezing tomorrow with what the forecast is or something like that. So we're heading towards spring. All right, anything else, Tracy and Chris?
I'm good. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, thanks for your efforts. All right, moving forward, a couple of announcements. First announcement, all technical difficulties with the Veterans Affairs telephone lines have been corrected. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, David, and thank you, Herbie, for getting that taken care of. Next commissioner meeting, virtual meeting is March 9th, 2021, at 10:30 a.m. at Jefferson Place. Would like to open the floor to public comments at this time. Hearing none, I'd like to close public comments. Questions, comments from the press? I think I heard Larry, you get in on a little late. I'm not sure who else we have on here today from the press. Here we go. Alex Nelson asked, do you have any thoughts or comments about the possibility of tolling I-80 bridges and how that could impact the community? Yeah, we just got word of that probably the same time everyone else did. And, I mean, there's pluses and minuses for all of it. Just me personally, I know that bridge has been a very dangerous bridge for a long time, and it has needed to be replaced, and it was one of our priorities is making some noise to get that replaced. When they decided that they don't have any money to replace it, so they're going to toll us, that changed the tune just a little bit. But I do know there's a public comment period about that. I think PennDOT does run a local impact study on what would happen tolling that, and the people that will actively avoid those tolls, creating more traffic on our streets. So, yeah, I guess we're stuck. It's one of those other things that we talked about the state there. I mean, with COVID and even before that, the state budget was a mess. It's still a mess. I really wish it should come out of the state budget, out of vehicle tax or something like that, but it doesn't. That is their best situation. The best scenario today to get that bridge replaced is to toll it. I would like to see other options pursued and exhausted before they do that. It's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think the important thing is just make sure everybody takes a moment and just gives them your input on this. You got the opportunity, so, because I'm sure that's going to weigh into the effect of what happened.
Yeah, like Jack said and heard, there's pros and cons to tolling it. It needs replaced, you know, just getting off the phone with Chris and Tracy, there's been so many wrecks there that it probably wasn't built correctly to begin with. I'm sure there was a lot of politics involved, how they put it in there, but it's a federal bridge and PennDOT controls it. So it's very dynamic.
I think they put it up in 1968.
That's a long time.
Something like that. I was born in 71, so. I don't know if I feel as old as that bridge, but.
They put it like that, I guess.
But yeah, it's, yeah, that's our 2 cents. Any other questions, comments? Okay, I don't see anything else. So looking for a motion that the meeting be adjourned.
So,
Second?
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Wooler?
Yes.
Mr. Clerk?
yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes.